Welcome to Investors Hangout, brought to you by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Funds and Value Research. In just about a week or two, we're going to be on the fag end of this financial year. Precisely 3 more months left. Have you done your tax-saving investments? If not, then my first question to the CEO of Value Research is, what should a person do who has not in all these 9 months done any tax investment, saving investments so far?
That is ideal if you can actually plan.
It happens, most of
it people. Happens. It's human nature. We wait till the deadline. And we see it in the statistics every year that the largest amount is invested in tax saving avenues only in the second half of March. Okay. When your accountant is threatening you that he will deposit the tax and if somebody is not giving the declaration or evidence that he has made the tax saving investment. Tax saving investment laws are very simple. You can invest 1.5 lakh rupees under section 80C, and that is deducted from your income for computing taxes. So if you're earning 10 lakh rupees, you make this 1.5 lakh rupees investment, then effectively it amounts to 8.5 lakh rupees income, and so your slabs can change. It is extremely beneficial. So, and tax save is money earned. So everybody should try and do that to the best of their ability. Must avail this this opportunity. There are different avenues to do it, and the simple way of doing the calculation of how much tax saving investment you have to make is from 1.5 lakh rupees. If there is any mandatory deduction, the employee provident fund or your PF deduction that is happening, deduct that. From 1.5 lakh rupees, assuming that 60,000 rupees is going by way of provident fund deduction. So now you are left with 90,000. Assuming there is any other pension plan or anything that you have bought, even that can be. So there are many eligible investments. Do those deductions, and the remaining money, if you are still going to get that tax break, make that investment. Okay. So one should try and avail as much as possible.
All right. And do you want to go into details about the products that are available from which person can choose?
There's a great, unfortunately, the first stop happens to be, because most people look at tax saving is the primary driver. So most of the people have locked into long-term investments very thoughtlessly. So most people's investment portfolio for tax saving will be dominated by endowment plans or unit-linked insurance plans, or things which they may not need, or it may not be, it may be very, they are not the most useful way of saving taxes. One, they are very low on performance, they are high on expenses, and they are also very low on utility. The insurance component that you get from your endowment plan and unit-linked insurance plan is not good enough to serve your purpose. So approach your term insurance, as we keep repeating all the time that the way to insurance is important, and buy a term insurance, pay that premium. Even that is eligible as a tax saving investment. Broadly, there are 4 ways of approaching tax saving investment. One is these hybrid ones, that ULIP, endowment, and all this, which is very popular, because a lot of people are being sold this without much of an explanation that tangibly they will be getting it. Then you have the fixed income avenues, the National Savings Certificate, Public Provident Fund. So they give you guaranteed return. They are absolutely safe. But when you are making a long-term investment, the biggest compromise could be on return. So that is meant for conservative investors. It is pure investment. So in that sense, that's okay. Then you have these equity linked investment, the ELSS and the NPS. They are dominantly equity linked. They are growth oriented investment, and they get you the benefit of long-term growth, superior return, reasonable expenses. And then you have the 4th category. There are certain expenditure like the term insurance plan premium, that is actually in the nature of expense, or tuition fee paid for your two children's education, that is also an eligible investment. So expenses apart, I think if one has to choose between the 3 kind of investment avenues, I think one should just look at the growth avenues, which is the ELSS and the NPS.
Okay. And You are recommending NPS more than anything else, or should one invest in it?
NPS is useful for some people who are extremely indisciplined because ELSS, you have a 3-year lock-in period. You invest, you hold it for 3 years, and after that it is like any other equity fund. So many times people are not disciplined enough. They think that after 3 years they need to take their money out.
Okay.
That may not be the case. Think beyond 3 years. Think of 10 years, 15 years, because if you keep doing your ELSS investment year after year and hold it till your retirement, it will translate into something like a retirement plan for you or a supplementary retirement fund for you. But there are people who will draw that money because after 3 years you have access to that money. NPS doesn't let you take that money out, and even in NPS it
per force
you remain invested. 40% of that money has to be turned into an annuity when you retire. That apart, NPS is improving by the day. Earlier it was not possible to have more than 50% in equity through NPS. Today it is possible to have 75% of your money, an allocation of 75% going into equity. Besides that, NPS happens to be the lowest cost investment product in the country. So anybody who is self-motivated, if you have exhausted your ATC and if you have these variables in place, if you still have window to invest, then under section 80CCD, because this is over and above 1.5 lakh rupees. So maybe assuming you're a self-employed and you have to invest 1.5 lakh rupees under ATC and additional 50,000 you can save, then go for NPS.
Okay. What is the ideal way of investing in tax saving instruments? Is SIP the way to go, or should quarterly investments be made? What do you recommend?
Yeah, even quarterly investment is SIP. And I would say that ideally, it fits in with your income and spending cycle. You get your salary every month, make your tax saving investment every month, and then you will not be left at the last moment to take a huge money, large sum to be invested.
Exactly.
And you will also be able to average your investment. So that's the ideal way. But assuming that, somebody is going to make this investment over the next 20 years, and if he's going to do it every year in the month of February, that is also a SIP. Over this long period of time, yearly SIP. So in that sense, the need for a SIP is that you are able to average your investment and you don't get perturbed by massive movement. You reduce the possibility of catching a market high. And in a 20-year period, you will have some highs, some lows, and some extreme lows, and this averaging will also work. But ideally, to fit in with your income and spending cycle, do it every month. It becomes a habit.
So ideal is that 12,500 rupees per month be taken out if there are no other avenues. You can avail it to the hilt. It's easier this way. Instead of rushing at the end of the year, okay, lump sum needs to be invested. But as Dhiren said, that could be considered as yearly SIP also. But I think you should do yourself a favor and get into a monthly SIP.
Mode, yes.
Yeah, 12,500.